Nightingale just released its most ambitious update yet, called the Realms Rebuilt. I had the honors to check it out early on a test server, which I spent a fair amount of time on to rediscover the magical world of the Fae, crawled through redesigned dungeons with more challenging bosses, upgraded my way through the new blueprint and progression system, which, by the way, also comes with new gear like the longbow, throwing knives, there is a new realm system, better building, and so much more. Simply put, Nightingale just got a whole lot bigger and better, so there is a lot to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your man Foriam, and today I'm gonna share what I think are the 10 biggest things to look forward to when rediscovering or starting from scratch with this new update, and also share my thoughts about them. Let's get right to it. Before we get started, a couple words. First off, a big thanks to Scarps and the Nightingale dev team for giving me the opportunity to check out the game early and share this information with you guys. On the official Nightingale channel, by the way, you can already find a full overview video covering pretty much everything new with this update. While today, I want to do something different and focus on the things that I really liked. The 10 most important things that stand out with this update, which in my opinion made the game much better. And we're going to go over them in a chronological order, so it's going to be a lot easier for everyone to follow, both newcomers and returning players, what exactly changed and got improved. All the footage, by the way, you're about to see comes from the private test realm or pre-release, which only a handful of people had access to, and this should represent the update, but it can contain minor differences, so keep that in mind. First things first, this specifically for the returning players. This massive update with all its additions and changes unfortunately also comes with a progression reset, as it's simply not possible to use those save files on the newer build, let's say. I did read or see somewhere that you can still continue on older characters on a previous build of the game, but still, I am totally fine with this, as we're basically getting an entirely new campaign. A new story mode with a whole lot of improvements, so I think it's gonna be awesome to rediscover the game from scratch. So, now that we have that out of the way, let's start off with creating our character, which also became a lot more interesting right now. We already had a ton of customization options for your character, so you were able to change its archetype, age, ancestry tree, etc. While right now you can also choose your outfit or equipment. With the previous update, this also kind of determined the difficulty. It made it easier, while right now these outfits simply don't have an impact. They share the exact same bonuses. They all come with plus 5 HP, so everyone is gonna look kind of different, which I think is gonna be nice if you're playing with other people on the same server. We're gonna talk about a whole lot more character customization options later in this video, but what I think really stands out right here is the starting loadout. Right now, you can choose between a whole lot of different options that come with, for example, a charm you can use on your gear. The Charm of Essence, for example, creates a bonus essence every time you kill 3 creatures, which can help you to quickly farm essence in the early game, while with the Charm of the Fervor, you can restore stamina after killing a creature. Then we also have a weapon enchantment that can rapidly heal the caster. This one also comes with a nice snack, which I think are all great options to choose from depending on your playstyle and how you want to basically start your adventure. Anyways, after you've created your character, the new tutorial will begin, which I think is made much better as it introduces you to the card system right off the bat, which without doubt is one of the biggest features of the game. Glad they didn't change or mix things up too much right here, because it was just good as it is. Anyways, after we've made our way to the new Abeyance realm, this is where we can start picking up some new weapons and tools. You will learn the basics of chopping down trees, mining for treasure, but also enchanting your gear. For example, I picked up this Immolation enchantment, which allows us to shoot fireballs on our enemies. I'm so happy they decided to move this to the beginning of the tutorial, as it literally took me hours and hours to figure out you were actually able to enchant gear with the previous update. Talking about gear, we now also have a much better progression system. This system makes unlocking blueprints so much easier. In the past, we had to constantly visit those essence traders to pick up new blueprints, and this was a super tedious thing to do. While now everything is categorized in different sections, like crafting, armor, weapons, tools, and we also see the different tiers. Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 essence, which are the more advanced tabs you will get access to in the mid and late game. But this also introduces new tools and weapons, like the long and short bow, and boy oh boy, the long bow is without doubt one of my absolute favorite weapons with this update. While it does take a little bit of time to recharge it, you can literally hit like a truck, snipe down those opponents from super far away. If you're familiar with my previous survival game content, well, you know that I absolutely love the sniping game. But there's more. Right now you can also craft throwing knives, which I think are super handy to complete those Bastille puzzles. You simply throw them from one to the next in the right sequence, and bam, there you have it, the puzzle is complete. I also saw a grappling hook, which you can now use to very quickly get on top of buildings. I wasn't able to unlock it myself just yet. But yeah, new weapons and tools, that most of the times also means new enemies. The first one I like to call headbutts. I mean, these were a true pain to deal with. You can probably outrun them in some way, which I haven't unlocked yet, but in general they are super fast. Sometimes it felt like there were Teslas shooting out of the forest, instantly taking me out. Anyways, now we also have the long-range bombardier. If you're not paying attention, they can be pretty scary as well. While there is another one, I like to call these the laser guys. If you like to play with a rifle, well, these guys are pretty similar to that. It does take a little bit of time before they shoot, but that is clearly indicated with this red line. At some point, you will just hear click and then bam, you're just too late, my friends. You've already been hit. On top of that, all the dungeons got reworked. Right now they are a lot more interesting. These new enemies will sometimes make it a true challenge, while at the end you can also expect some new bosses. I don't want to talk too much about these or share strategies how you can take them down, but the first one I came across was the Jabberwock. A kind of spellcaster kangaroo velociraptor, if I may. I know it's a weird thing, but still, that is basically my first impression of it. I also found a messed up bear, Azazel the Penitent. This one literally split open his own head. Tentacles and spikes came out of it, dealing a ton of damage or capturing me in general. This also was a very interesting boss fight with some new unique mechanics introduced to the game. Honestly, all the battles right now feel a lot more challenging and fun. But again, I don't want to talk too much about these. You should just check them out yourselves. That's going to be the most fun and immersive thing to do. But for these bosses, you also want to come prepared. And this is where I think a new edition of the game is really, really handy, which is a new radial menu they added. So normally we had to equip our snacks to the hotbar, and with one click we were able to access them. While right now you can choose one default snack, like a healing item, a potion or whatnot. But if you press and hold this button, you basically get a radial menu where you can have all your different snacks equipped. So it's going to be a lot easier to get battle ready and drink specific potions, let's say, to deal with specific situations. Now, with your quick travel, you can not only return to your respite or main base, but also to these crossroads, let's say, where you can enter different worlds in general. I think it's a very nice way of being more mobile, as sometimes it literally took forever to get from A to B, especially if you were stuck in a certain dimension. But now, apart from the story worlds, where you have to deal with all the campaign bosses and walk through what the game has in store for you, we also get the Untamed Realms, which are similar to what we had before. You can just randomly generate new worlds, which should also come with an abundance of rare resources, more essence, which you can farm, of course, to upgrade and unlock new gear and blueprints. But also that is going to be more challenging, as these Untamed Realms are going to be more difficult from what I've heard compared to the regular ones. We also have a nice amount of changes to base building in general. So in the past, your respite realm or main base realm, let's say, had to be inside an abeyance realm or a starter zone, which was pretty limiting or, I don't know, boring for the people who wanted to try something different. Right now, you can do exactly that. Place your main base in whatever realm you come across during your adventures. On top of that, the bad guys will no longer be able to deal damage to your base, which I think is a very nice addition, as in the past it was pretty annoying when they were smacking through your doors. Now, with the addition of these very long-range bombardiers and laser guys, I really don't want to be watching my back 24/7 if they snipe through the gates. What I also think is a godsend, I mean, we've been kind of waiting for this, is that if you rest in a bed right now, you can instantly change your difficulty. Doing this in the past was truly painful. I mean, you had to close your portals to different realms, reopen them, and change the difficulty with this menu. Right now, it only takes one click and bam, the difficulty is different. So you can always tune this to cater the playstyle of yourself and other players on the server. For example, if somebody new joins the game, just tone it down. If you want to go for endgame farming, let's say, with a very prepared group, you can go all the way up to Nightmare. Ooh. Another massive change is the one for augmentations. In the past, we weren't able to craft certain items at the workbench, even though we had these unlocked. We first had to place these augmentation things right next to it. And at a certain point, you had this crafting bench with 100 pieces of decoration around them. It was getting pretty messy. Right now, all this is no longer required. If you unlock the rifle, you can instantly craft it. No ammo box or whatsoever, but it will still be important to place them, because instead right now they will come with very important bonuses to make these weapons a lot more efficient, or maybe decrease the amount of resources it will take for you to craft them, etc, etc. This one also amazing for the builders out there. In the past we had pretty much limited amount of structure components we were able to place. The developers found a way to optimize the coding behind all this, how it renders in the world, so it's gonna demand less resources from your PC or the server, so you can really go ham on the construction and spend all the resources you find on a majestic castle. I, though, am a simple man. I like a straw roof over my head, just camp out there in the wild and have everything a meter away from me, so I can just efficiently do what I like to do. But I do look forward to one day making myself an epic castle with all the fancy schmancy augmentations in the game. Anyways, last but not least, now we also have the Glamour station, which basically takes transmogrification to Nightingale. Now you will be able to find Glamour tokens. I usually came across these in the synchronous lotus chests at the end of all those caves and dungeons, but if you take these to the station, you can basically change the appearance of your items, specifically the appearance of your gear. I think this is going to be a really nice one to make your character look a little bit better, even though the items it has equipped are trash. Or maybe the other way around. You have the absolute best gear in the game, but you're humble and you just want to look like somebody who just started with their character. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, what I think are the 10 biggest things you should look forward to when rediscovering Nightingale or starting from scratch. If you enjoyed the content, be sure to leave a like, and of course, let us know in the comments down below what you look most forward to. Checking out the new campaign, maybe building that majestic estate with a whole lot more components. Maybe you want to check out all the different weapons and armor, or simply farm for loot. Take out bad guys and go out raiding. I'm sure all this is going to be a lot more interesting starting today. Anyways, this is only the first of many videos for the coming weeks. I'm going to spend a lot of time rediscovering Nightingale. Very much looking forward to sharing more content with you guys about it. Right now though, it's 4 AM out. I want to wish you an amazing day. I'll check you in the next video or live stream. Peace.